we've had the huge Sesko breaking news that he has chose to join Manchester United, and his preference is to join the football club amid talks with obviously Newcastle. We've had the huge breaking news coming in from obviously David Ornstein, who broke it a few hours ago. We've also got some huge talks about Donnarumma, but we start off Manchester United prioritising Benjamin Sesko, a striker signed this summer. 22-year-old now preferred option for Manchester United. Informal contact made with Leipzig. Slovenia international remains top target for Newcastle, and Newcastle obviously keep an eye on the pursuit as well. So Newcastle are targeting the 22-year-old as Isak looks to leave. Villa have told United that Ollie Watkins is not for sale, which makes sense why Manchester United have gone to look for Benjamin Sesko. Now, there's a lot of story that's come out. Obviously, Isak has a big part to play in it as well, with Newcastle being heavily interested. Leipzig have been offered the chance to include a player in the Sesko deal. Højlund is being considered as a dream target. So this is what came out as well from Ben Jacobs. Matt Hargreaves held face-to-face talks. Sesko open to Manchester United without Champions League football. Healthy debate internally on whether to move after talks with Ollie Watkins. Christopher Vivell is driving the Sesko approach, which you already know. And Newcastle fear Sesko will pick United but remain in the race. And listen, it all comes down to what Sesko wants. And United is his preferred destination. The feeling inside, this is coming from Craig Hope, who again is pretty reliable on Newcastle, that he will go to Manchester United. Manchester United sources say they do not have to sell to make any more signings this summer. We open formal talks, both hoping price drops to around 70 million euros, which is around 60 million pounds. So, yeah, listen, it does seem Benjamin Sesko is the one that we've chosen. Again, listen, my option and my preferred option was always Watkins. I think I made that very clear. But chief negotiator Matt Hargreaves arrived a few days ago with United aware that they have to move fast, with Newcastle also pushing for Sesko's signature. Talks are ongoing for a new on the player side now as United step in the pursuit of a new number 9. Both United and Newcastle believe a transfer could be possible for closer to 70 million euros. TalkSport understands Sesko favours a move to Old Trafford over St James Park. But yeah, listen, it's looking like this Sesko deal is heating up. As I said, how do Manchester United afford this? Firstly, as I said, Watkins was the one that I wanted. I think the Prem experience, he was a much cheaper option. I think he was what we needed at the current moment. But again, we've gone for a younger option. Who again, and I don't see with Sesko coming in, I don't see a way in which Højlund stays at Manchester United. I think his exit is ultimately pretty certain now. I think whether that's a player swap, I think that would be a pretty good deal. I think Højlund would probably do well in the Bundesliga. And again, Sesko, listen, he's inexperienced, but again, we have lots of players around him who are experienced. You've got Bruno, Cunha, and Burmo, Ahmad, Xerxes as well, who has a bit of prime experience. So again, he might not be the most experienced player, but yet again, United have been tracking him for some time. He certainly is the player that Manchester United want, and I think we will be able to afford him. I think United, again, in terms of Cunha and Mbeumo, we're paying them in instalments. And again, sources are saying that we don't have to sell any players. So it's looking like Sesko is the one. I think for it to come up from David Ornstein does seem like it's pretty reliable and credible. And these talks are actually ongoing. Matt Hargreaves, again, we have to understand, we have to act quick. And again, Sesko does seem like a very, very good striker. As I said, I'm not going to shy and say that I preferred Sesko. I wanted Watkins, but Sesko is certainly an option. And as I said, with Højlund leaving, Sesko does offer Manchester United goals. He offers us quality, and I think he's a player who again does have some very, very good qualities about him. He can definitely score goals. He's a physical presence, and again, I think this negotiation will probably take a while. I think United understand they have to act quick though, which again why they are talking with them now and having meetings with them now, because we know that Newcastle are heavily interested as well, because they're going to need a striker. And again, listen, there could be a scenario where you get Sesko and Watkins. The likelihood of that happening is pretty unlikely. I think Sesko would be the one United focusing on at the moment. We always knew it was between Sesko and Watkins. Now it's looking like Sesko has been chosen. As I said, it's going to cost a lot of money, £60 million in that region, which again is pretty expensive. But again, if you want to get in that striker, again, it's a big risk because he's relatively inexperienced. But you will back the player when he joins. I think he definitely is a very, very fascinating talent. Then the fact that he wants to join Manchester United, again, is a positive. We've seen the players wanting to join, and the fact that we can get players that can join without Champions League football is pretty eye-opening. I think you go from a front three of, I think in our last Premier League game that started was Mount, Garnacho and Højlund. You go from that to Cunha and Buemo, and Sesko is a massive, massive upgrade, and I think the quality is certainly there. Then you have players like Ahmad, Mainu, Bruno, who can fill in among others as well. So it does look like Sesko is the one that United have chosen. As I said, he does seem like a very talented player. Again, 22 years old. I think he does have that talent that we need. And yeah, the quality is certainly there. So let's see what happens. But that's the exclusive. It came from Ornstein now. Obviously, Ben Jacobs and others have all backed it up. He wants to join. The feeling is he's going to choose United anyway. So let's see. Now, the last thing. After inquiry early in the summer, United expected to renew their interest in Donnarumma. PSG are open to selling the keeper. This coming in from James Duck, I believe, of the Telegraph, who again is pretty reliable. So the fact that it's coming out from here does say there is some credibility in there. United inquired about Donnarumma. PSG open to sell if the right bid comes in. PSG braced them for Manchester United renewing their interest once PSG signed Chevalier, and United remain interested in adding a goalkeeper this window. And they're open to selling for the right price. So what would be the right price for Donnarumma? I mean, Champions League winner, Euros winner, a serial winner, to be fair. Very, very good goalkeeper. Now, if you look at his contract at PSG, let's see when it ends. He signed a 5-year contract. That when he left Milan on a free transfer in 2021. So he has 5 million. Sorry, not 5 million. It was a 5-year deal. He would be going into the last year next year. United capitalised on Donnarumma. He has been linked to clubs in Saudi, Al Ittihad and Galatasaray. They've offered the keeper a 20 million euro salary, which is around 17 million pounds, which is a wage over 330 grand a week. A weekly wage of over 330 grand a week. United City also made inquiries, but they've obviously signed James Trafford. So listen, there's no doubt Donnarumma would be a significant upgrade, and it all depends on Onana and Bayinda leaving. United are said to be determined to land a goalkeeper before the season starts, and are interested in obviously Martinez, but we ain't going to get him. Listen, I'd be over the moon with Donnarumma. Again, the concerns are though he would probably want a huge wage, and if the right bid comes in though, which in terms of what he's worth, I mean, Champions League winner, as I said, he won the treble, I think, with PSG. He'd probably be worth like 50, 60 million, maybe more than that. But again, you might be able to get him for 40 because obviously PSG want to sell with Chevalier coming in. So we will have to wait and see what happens. I think he is a very, very good keeper. There's been lots of talks about Donnarumma, and I think he is a sort of goalkeeper profile that we need. He's a very, very good shot stopper, distribution fantastic. He is 26 years old, which is very young for a goalkeeper. And again, imagine you're getting rid of Onana, or you make Onana second choice, you get rid of Bayinda, you bring in Donnarumma. The thing is, would he want to be second choice to Onana? You'll have to wait and see, but he certainly is one. As I said, PSG are open to sell Donnarumma. United want Donnarumma. I think this seems like a very hard deal to do, but it certainly would be one I'd love to do. I think Donnarumma, again, we were interested when he was going to leave Milan at, 21 years old. I think he was, or 22, around that age. Now you look at him now, he's by far probably the best keeper in the world, and has had a brilliant season. I mean, he was absolutely impressive in PSG's race to win the Champions League. I remember his saves against Liverpool. He made some decent saves in the final. Like, he is a very, very good keeper. Again, has got the mistake in him, but he certainly is a talented keeper nonetheless, and I think someone that United would love to have in their team. And again, listen, it does seem like it's on. The fact that it's coming, as I said, from Telegraph is pretty reliable. So yeah, let's see what does develop. But thanks for watching.